Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Impact and Influence Author Show. Okay, I know you're saying, wait a minute, that comes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is Thursday, the day for Real Talk around the night. I know, but sometimes you just got to do things a little bit different. And today, I really wanted to interview this wonderful author, and I wanted you guys to learn about him and about his book. So we're doing it on the Real Talk Day. But and you're gonna like it. I promise you, you're gonna love it just as much as you love us, our other shows we do. So I'm excited because my guest today, he has so much to share with you, and especially if there's something inside of you that says, "I need to make a change. I'm feeling this need to just move forward." But I don't want to go into too much. But first of all, let's go ahead and welcome author Mark A. Davis. Hey, Mark, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Good to be with you.
Well, hey, we're glad you're here. Well, Mark, one of the first things I like to ask my authors when they come on the show is to tell me, who is Mark Davis? Who is Mark A. Davis?
That's a loaded question.
Yes, it is.
The short answer is just a humble servant, just someone who listens to what God tells me to do and send out and share, whether that's a message from behind the pulpit or whether it's through the means of what we call books. And so I like to share the story that has been given to me for the people. So that's it. Native of Virginia, been here in Metro Atlanta for almost 25 years. So that's a little bit about me, someone who left corporate. You'll hear more about that, I'm sure, in this interview.
Yes.
But someone who's just really following his dreams, but most importantly, keeping my ear close to what God is telling me and in the direction in which he's guiding me to move and what he guides me to share.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot you said that has so many great questions that has my mind going crazy over here that I want to ask you about all at one time. But I'm not going to do that. We won't do that. And I want to, let's talk about I'm going to bring your book up right now too. And tell me, it's called Burning the Boat. What does burning the boat mean? I'm sure there are other people out there who wonder what that means as well. So explain to me the title, first of all.
Burning the boat stems from a concept that actually stems from an old story. It's a very old story that stems from a general and his troops when they're facing a battle on an island. And the general and his troops were outnumbered when they were facing the opposing war troops. And the general troops came to him and suggesting that they retreat because they were outnumbered in fear. And suggesting they retreat. And the general decided to literally burn the boat to help them to decide to make the decision. We will die here fighting, or we will win this battle. So there's no turning back. So we're going to face our fears. We burn this boat and we're moving forward with our fears, but we have no option but to win this battle, or we will die right here trying. So that's where this whole concept stems from, is that many of us, whether here in the US or internationally, may resonate with this concept because we in life face many obstacles, situations, circumstances, whether it's literally a battle, or sometimes it's the battle within our own mind, or the battle of the circumstances where we're facing. It could be a sickness, it could be decisions, it could be involving the people we're around. So that's where this whole concept of burning the boat comes from.
Okay, I like that. So guys, you get that? That's interesting. So if you burn that boat, then you can't let your fears make you turn around and go backwards. You have to face your fears head on. You have to get that faith. You got to get that trust. You have to just get what it takes to keep moving forward, correct?
Right. Another modern day way to put it, the rapper 50 Cent released something years back called Get Rich or Die Trying. Similar concept. Is that the option of quitting is not an option, but the option of failure also is not an option. So we will win, and we're going to burn the boat. We're not going to look back. We're not retreating. We're going to move forward with confidence. And I share in this book, I'm sure we'll get more into it, about the tools and methods, some of my experiences and journeys in corporate America, as well as in life, as well as, experiences that I share upon many others, some of the greats and some people who are not so well known. in this book called Burning the Boat.
Awesome. And by the way, I love your book cover. It's really, really nice.
Thank
Very
you.
intriguing. So, Mark, so let's talk about a little bit of your background in corporate America. And then from there, we're going to go into a little bit more. But tell me about your background in corporate America, some of the things you experienced, some of the things you heard. Um, your peers have experienced being a part of corporate America. And then we're going to go into talking about what made you decide to burn your boat.
Well, again, so the book is not a necessarily a knock on corporate per se. I use this as one commonly found example that myself and many other folks who've been a part of the corporate entity has struggled with. And part of my experiences in my story, in addition to having met many people, was some of the things such as I had an old boss who made a company $900 million. And
Whoa.
the CEO didn't have the courtesy to take 5 minutes on her last day when she retired to come down and say thank you. She made the company $900 million. And I can't get a 5 minutes you to come down on this floor and say thank you for your contribution to, to our revenue stream, for those dozens of years. And so it gives people, when I saw that person I'm referring to, when I saw the look, the disappointment on her face, it made me think about not only her, but people like myself who are not at retirement age yet necessarily, but what type of things did we put on hold, for example, to provide all this contribution to this one place, this one entity, as compared to what and how many of our own dreams or aspirations did we kind of push aside to do this one thing. And so that's part of what this burning the boat philosophy and everything leads into in the book, is about people not letting yourself go, not giving up on yourself, not forgetting about ourselves, our individuality, following our own dreams and aspirations and goals outside of what we do in corporate, for example. That's one example that we talk about in the book.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. It really does. And it's really, really, really sad. And I know my viewers out there can agree that, when you put a lot of time and energy into your job or working for a company, and most people, I repeat, most people go to work and they give their best and they do their best. But I mean, he just shared a story with us, guys, where this person, this female, she worked and made over $900 million for a company, and they couldn't even come down and say, hey, thank you for a great job, goodbye, and we wish you luck, or anything. They didn't even come down and say anything. I mean, how many of you out there have ran into that same type of behavior from management on your job, where you just don't feel appreciated? Now, again, as Mark is saying, and as I'm saying as well, we're not saying walk away from your job because your boss is getting on your nerves. What we're saying is, if you feel led, if you feel that God has something more for you, or if you maybe you're not a believer, but if you feel that there's more for you out there, then and something is telling you to, hey, go ahead and follow your dreams, fulfill your passion, then by all means look at that avenue, see if it's what's for you. Those of us who are believers, we know that we pray first and say, God, is this your will? Is this your will for us to walk away now? And should we walk away and trust you in this endeavor because we're really feeling this is something we should do? So even going there, Mark, what would you say to people who have fear? They hear that voice is saying it's time for change, but they have this fear. They have a fear to really step out there on that faith and go forward.
So one, I'll route you back to the book because there's tons of strategies and there's 10 ways outlined to do it.
Okay.
But part of this is the confidence piece that we mostly commonly refer to as faith, right? I'll tell you a quick story. A good friend of mine told me we used to talk a lot after church service. And he's what we call one of these everyday millionaires, right? Doesn't carry himself a certain way, good people. And as we befriended each other and had more conversations, I asked him point blank, I said, what's the difference? Like, what is it that wealthy people do? Like, what is it that you guys do that most of us don't do? And he simply looked at me and he said, it's our faith. That's
Wow.
the difference. That's the only difference. It's not smart. Smart's got nothing to do with it. It's not about connections necessarily. It's really about our faith. And we know, most of us, believers or not, you got to put in the work in addition to the faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. One thing that really inspired me, I remember where I was sitting at in my office back in December of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and something really stirred up in me. And the truth was the matter of that I had to face a reality within myself. Many folks, many of the listeners out here tonight, or that will see this broadcast afterwards, may resonate with this thought or this feeling. I felt like I'm using, me personally, about 10% of my true gifts, talents, and faculties in what I was doing.
Mm.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not the sharpest, maybe not the dumbest, but not the sharpest. And so that was me. I said, so what is it about me that I won't step away and at least give it a shot to like go for my dreams and aspirations? And I knew I wasn't the only one. There's so many people out there because this safety net we talk about, this
Mm-hmm.
safety net and this lack of confidence, this fear, right? This fear to burn the boat and move forward to say, I don't know what's ahead of me, but my faith and my confidence will help me to get there and figure it out.
Yes. Okay. I like that. And so I know even you mentioned in your book too, a part of you're going to believe in something, right?
Right.
Are you going to believe in? I mean, well, how did you put it? It talks about fear and
Fear and faith.
fear and faith.
They
So
they both, in short, they both, fear and faith both require you to believe in something you can't see.
there
Right.
you go.
If you fear, you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. But I tell you, faith also, you don't know what's on the other side. I would personally recommend, and most people I know are quote unquote successful people, they have this concept that we call faith. They operate in faith and not fear. Doesn't mean you don't have it figured out. Doesn't mean you don't face some scary situations. You know, I left corporate shortly before the pandemic started at the first of 2020, and it sure was scary, but I never looked back because of my faith.
Yes. And I love that you said that this man that's just, he's a millionaire and you asked him that question and he's the one thing he said was faith. And that's something because your faith, when you really, really trust God, especially if you have a relationship with God and you believe, and you really, really trust God, and if you stand on your faith wholeheartedly, trusting Him 100%, then He's going to open doors for you. He's going to send you to the right people. He's going to make provision for you where there needs to be provision made. He's going to connect you with the connections that you need. Am I right, Mark? I mean, I think even for yourself, you experienced some of those things, right? In your journey in writing Burning the Boat. Am I correct?
That's correct. And it reminds me of one story. I'm not going to give out any more about the book. Folks can read it and get it themselves. But I'll share one more thing. This is a story about that same friend. I was excited to be leaving corporate America and finding my way and looking toward, I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have a bunch of money in the bank, but it was about trust. One thing this friend told me when I was excited, I said, I'm getting my website together. I'm doing all these things. And I asked him for some business advice for an entrepreneur. And he began to still tell me, he said, you know about the story of Wizard of Oz, right? And I'm thinking like, of course, keep going. And he said, you know how Dorothy, how she wanted to find this great wizard, right? I said, yes, of course. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, this guy's insulting me. Of course I know the story of Wizard of Oz, right? I'm not under a rock. And so he proceeded to say, well, you know how when she started walking on this yellow brick road, she ran into the scarecrow. I said, yes, of course. Then the Tin Man, then the lion, and so on and so forth. And basically, he said, the point I'm getting at is she had everything she needed. She just had to start walking.
Wow.
Everything was added to her. She just had to start walking. So many of us, we have dreams and ideas and we give up because we don't have it all figured out. We don't know what the next steps look like. But this faith concept promotes us the opportunity to say, I'm going to take another step and another step and another step forward without having it all figured out. And I assure you, when you walk in that faith, in Dorothy's case, it was literally when you walk with this faith, all these things, and we know what the Bible says will be added to you. But in her case, all the resources that she needed to do to get to this, figuratively speaking, this great wizard, whatever the wizard is for you or me or whoever, or for your listeners, whatever that wizard is just we got to start walking that scarecrow, that tin man, that lion. All these things will come to us. They'll be sent to us based on our faith and our ability to walk and keep moving forward, not looking back.
I love it. So, Mark, let me ask you to share with our viewers, what was that moment for you when you knew, because I know this is something that had been on your mind and you kind of wrestled with for a while, but what was that turning point for you that said, you know what, I am really about to step out on this space? I understand you went through an experience in your travels, so share that with us.
I'm laughing because I remember, and you know the story, of course, I remember where I was when this thing happened. So I went to Africa back in mid 2019. So it was almost 2 years ago. And I didn't really know where I was going. You know, I went, it was an opportunity to go along with some fellow clergy men and women, and wonderful experience. But one thing that I saw, you know, I saw the poorest of the poor, but I saw the wealthiest of the wealthy also in Ghana, Africa. But one thing that was a common thread that I saw in my 8 days there was the people's faith. When I say faith, I mean, it's not like a lot of folks there have this 9 to 5 where there's like, all right, I can make it, but every other Friday or twice a month or once a month, I'm going to get this quote unquote paycheck. When I saw the faith, people were selling things that you didn't need, but they had this confidence that if I don't sell these goods that I've made yesterday, if I don't sell these today, then me, my family, we don't eat. So it was this faith in God that he will provide each and every day.
So you mean to tell me those people they were sitting there thinking that, and they didn't have worry on their face. They didn't look concerned. They had a place of peace within them that you could see.
There was a peace, but there was this piece of confidence that wasn't something I had, to be honest. As a minister, it was something I didn't have. And so I'm living in USA. I've got all resources at my disposal. I work a corporate job. I make over 6 figures. What's my complaint? You know, I've got seemingly everything. But the one thing I didn't have that I knew that was stirred up in me was I didn't have this level of faith. Wow. So, and I talk about that in the book, and readers will read about this. But it was like, could I operate in a situation where I really had to depend on and count on my faith every single day? And so for me, the answer was no. And so it was the faith, not just about surviving, but it was about the faith and that confidence to really do what I want to do in life. You know, the pandemic has taught us many things, that obviously life is precious. Okay. Yeah. With that being said, is like, why are we not doing the things we want to do? For some people, it's like, I want to check this off my bucket list. I want to go backpacking in Europe for 3 months, whatever. Some people is like, you know what? I'll give this business idea a shot. Why not? As my brother mentioned, he said, you can always go back and get a job if this doesn't work, because you have some skills and faculties and abilities that you've, through your education or formal years of training and experience, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, I know it wasn't just me. I know as many folks out here, not only USA, but globally, that are not operating with this level of faith. And so for me, I can remember clearly sitting on the plane 13 hours. I was completely restless. Now, one thing, now, folks who still have your parents, you still have that thing in the back of your mind. I knew on that plane ride coming back, I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm quitting. And the fear came over me, right? The fear to not burn the boat and to look back and say, no. But there was something in me, what I saw, this level of faith being exercised on a daily basis, counting on God every single day to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. My only real fear was like, how do I tell my dad? Because, you know, he's old school. It's like, you can't quit a job if you don't have a job, don't have plenty of money in the bank, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, it was really burning the boat, facing that fear and not looking back and say, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to operate in faith, and I'm going to get up every day and do everything I can in my own power and ability. And I promise you, I'm no different than anybody else who operates with these principles. The one mainly we're talking about here is faith, is that those things will be sent to you. Those things, those resources, those needs, that person, that publisher, like yourself, will be sent to you along your journey, along your walk, as long as we're walking in faith. So that's where all this bubbled from. And some people say I came back with a little different, a little chip on my shoulder, but it was really, I was fired up. I was excited, but I wanted to share this message, this vision and this concept to be able to push people out of the bird nest, people like myself, many folks out there who are sitting with these ideas, these visions, these businesses, these inventions, all these things sitting dormant because they haven't had this push out of the nest to say, go for it. Why not? But we have to have the faith in order to do that. So obviously, faith is a common theme that's laced throughout this book, but is also some definitely guidance and pointed resources and concepts to be able to share people, to give them, to push, to go out and live your best life.
Yes. Well, so I want you to also just expound upon the fact that age. Now, you're going to have some people that say, well, I'm too young to really do something like that right now. Or you're going to have those who say, I'm too old, my time has passed by. It sounds really good, but. So what do you say to those groups of people that would feel that type of way?
I will say this, and it sounds very cliche, and many folks have heard this concept before. Look at your 5 closest friends and look at the type of concepts that they employ. Look at their vision, their outlook on success. And if you've got people in your life, in your corner, in your circle that tell you what you can't do, I would recommend reconsidering the circles of the people that you hang around. One example is the fact that, many of us who have this light, we call it a light. We call it a light in ministry, right? Is what is your light? But these are our God-given gifts and talents. Many of us have these lights that we intentionally dim down because people around us can't handle our light, right? And so we don't want to disappoint them by, the old school folks say, getting too big for your britches, right? Or he or she thinks we're better or better than us. No, it's just that I've got these gifts and talents that I must employ and exercise because, one, that's part of my purpose here. So I would encourage folks to say, why not live out your purpose, whether you're 25 or 95? There's still left. If you're waking up in the morning breathing, there's still work to be done. And there's still something left in you to be able to complete on your journey here on earth.
I agree. And, Mark, a lot of times too, and you mentioned a little bit about it earlier too, is that when you step out on that faith and when you pursue your passion or your dream, you have to put the time and the effort and the energy into it. A lot of times, again, when we talk about going to a regular job, we put our time and effort in there. We want to get that paycheck, so you're going to make sure you're at work. You're going to make sure you're doing what you need to do so you don't get reprimanded or whatever. But you have to have even more, I think, drive when it comes to really pursuing your passion or your dream. You have to put in the time needed. You cannot say, I think you even shared a story with me at one point too, Mark, in regards to the fact that some people can have a great vision and a great dream and it looks so wonderful and you think, wow, they're going to make it and they're going to be successful in what they're doing. But if they don't put what it takes behind that, what is the result they're going to get from that? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and part of it stems from your circle of influence. That's a part of it. But the other thing stems from, in my opinion, in my research and practices, and what has panned out to be true for me, is operating in certain principles. And we've all heard about the book. It's been about 15 years now. The book called The Secret. There's a new documentary, a follow-up to that talked about The Secret. But what they failed to include with that is talking about the laws of attraction, right? But what they failed to mention and emphasize is the fact that you have to put in the work with these concepts, with these principles. You have to put in the work. But the thing about it is, when we have these big goals and these big dreams, one thing that happens, I do this in different seminars that I have and I've held over the past few years, is the thing about it, all people have this some wild dream, whatever it is, whether it's climbing Mount Everest or whatever, and it really excites them, but it scares the bejesus out of them at the same time, because it's like, oh, I don't know how I could do that, man. That would be crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing that excites people to get up Monday mornings and to not your stomach cringing when you're pulling into the parking garage. You could tell I've experienced some of these things, right? But these are the things that really excite people in the morning when they get up. So you're more likely to put the energy and effort into those things as compared to going to a quote unquote 9 to 5, as an example, to something you really, your heart and your passion and your dreams don't lie within. So that's why I recommend through this book is that the how do we approach these? And these are the reasons and the methods and the principles that help us to get there. So don't just have the dream, because we've all heard it before. The graveyard is full of dreams that never happen.
So
Full
true.
of ideas. Can you imagine how many of those that never pursued it, or with the wrong circles or group of folks that couldn't encourage them to say, you know what, that's wild, but I think you can do it. And sometimes for some people, all they need is a person or a book or something to say, you can do it. Give it a shot. You only live once. You know, I'd rather live, and part of what I teach in a lot of seminars is the question is, what would your 90-year-old self tell you today about you following your dreams or not? What would your 90-year-old self say? Do you want to be in that place where you're 90 or 99 and look back and say, I should have went for it. I should have tried that business. I should have did this, or I should have took that trip, or I should have tried to do this, or I should have whatever it is for you. We owe it to ourselves to be able to give it one shot. You can't be scared to fail. Most entrepreneurs, I use a lot of research, but real life examples. Most people, and the common fear is the fear of failure, right? The fear of failure. And let's use Thomas Edison, for example. When we look up at the incandescent light bulb, for example, it took him, research suggests, at least 3,000 times to get it right. How many, I know folks, I'm preaching to myself, I might not do 300 talking about 3,000. Some folks do 30. But can you imagine, he had this vision of a light bulb. He had this vision. We're not going to need this gas torch. We're not going to need this any longer. He had this vision that he didn't give up on. And it's people like that have inspired me when I read about that are everyday folk who just said, I've got this burning desire that gives me the passion when I wake up every day. I can see it. I can visualize it. I'm going to surround myself with people that tell me I can do it, and I'm going to make it happen. Whether it's 30 attempts, 3 or 3,000 for Thomas Edison, it happened.
That's right.
You can't
Don't give up. Keep going. Keep pushing forward. Keep believing in your dreams. You have to be the number one person that believes in your dreams. And as Marcus mentioned, surround yourself with people that are positive-minded, people that are going to encourage you and support you, okay? Because we all know the naysayers and the negative folks that are set in their own ways, and they're going to tell you, oh, you're crazy, don't leave your job, or you're crazy, don't follow your dreams, or you're crazy, are you, did you lose your mind, or whatever. They're going to say those things because they don't have the vision you have. So you have to understand, it may not mean that they don't care about you, but they just don't know how to support you in the way that you need that support. So sometimes you do have to, not sometimes, but all the times, you need to kind of, like Marcus mentioned, surround yourself with like-minded people, people who have a vision, people who are looking to go somewhere, people who know how to step out of the box and step out on that faith. And so even for my authors out there listening, so Mark has written this wonderful book, Burning the Boat. And there are aspiring authors out there right now that are thinking, I really want to finish my book. I really want to get my book out there. I've got so many great ideas. I want to be like Mark and the other authors that I see on the author show, on the Impact Influence Author Show. You can have that opportunity. You can have that opportunity to be a part of something wonderful, like what Mark is experiencing by, following your dreams and your passion. And I do want to encourage you. This show is about giving you the voice. If you're a seasoned author, a new author, aspiring author, contact us, become a part of the Impact and Influence Authors Association, Surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing things. As I always talk about, to be a part of the Impact and Influence Authors Association, you have to be doing something or writing something that's going to promote positive change in people's lives. Or you may be a supporter. Maybe you're not an author, but you love reading. You can join as a supporter as well. Now, I do want to tell you guys, Mark is going to be one of our featured authors. That's right, at the Impact and Influence Authors Conference. And let me put that information up there for you. Bam. The 2021 Impact and Influence Authors Conference, which will be held March 26th through the 28th. That's coming up real soon. And it is a free event. So you can come out. You'll have an opportunity to meet Mark and to listen to his session. He's doing a 30-minute session. And when I say that's invaluable and it's free, come on. You guys got to come out and be a part of this, because you're going to get fed so much. It's going to change your life. It's a life-changing experience. Now, we do have VIP for those of you like me who has to have that front row and want to see everything and get everything I can get. We do have VIP available for you too, and that's only at $50 for the whole weekend. And it gets you into all the workshops and the events and all those things. You're going to have the opportunity to experience an evening with the literary stars, where you can dine with them and mingle with them. On Saturday, there's a beautiful, wonderful 2021 Impact and Influence Author of the Year award ceremony that happens Sunday. You can come out free. It's going to be so much fun. And here's where you can go and get the information. Go right there to Lady Knight Enterprises Publishing, and you'll see the information about the conference there. Or if you need help with publishing your work, your books, those ones, your vision, your passion, contact us. We do have affordable pricing for you. We do have payment plans available. My goal, guys, is to make sure I can help you bring your passion and your vision to life. So, Mark, what would you say to aspiring author out there today?
I will share what was shared to me. A friend of mine from Virginia wrote a book years ago, became a bestseller. And we're talking one day after church, and excuse me, he was saying what inspired him to write the book. And he was sharing something, a part of a testimony that I was sharing in a previous Bible study. And he said that inspired him to not give up and to go ahead and write the book. And I said, I had no idea.
Wow.
But he told me, I remember he touched me on my chest and he said, I know you've got a book in you too. And what he was saying is that you've got some experience or some experiences in your life, just like him and many of us out there, that deserves for your story to be shared through this mechanism of a book. And so I'll tell people who have unique experiences, your lens, your voice, share your voice and your lens and your experience with the world by putting in a book. So I encourage you, you don't have to have it all figured out. Again, we walk in faith, the resources, Lady Enterprises has been wonderful for me in my journey as a new author. But honestly, Ron, I've shared this with you before. I don't feel like an author. I don't feel like this, super, I don't know. What does an author look like? It looks like a person like me, you, and anybody else who has a story that needs to be shared, whether it's inspiring or whether it's factual, whether it's fiction, who has a story or lens or perspective to share that can be a blessing to people as a whole. That's what it's all about, is not harboring your experiences, your triumphs, your tragedies, your victories, but being able to, and I encourage you to be able to share those things with the world at large, because it will generally inspire many people by you sharing your story and your perspective. So that's what it's more all about for me, not necessarily saying I'm an author. It's more about, and for me, listening to God is saying, share this with my people. And so this is an opportunity to share your experience. And for me, it's really encouraging, pushing people out of the comfort zone, pushing people out of the nest to say, burn the boat, move forward. And so I know I'm one of many folks, whether you consider me a new author or not, who has this experience in his voice and his perspective that people need and can benefit from.
I agree. And, I think for me, Mark, one of the things as an author, and I've authored several books now, but it is not about, me really. It's about my books. Like when I hear people reach out to me and contact me and say, hey, your story really blessed me, or it changed my life, or your book helped my kids, because we have a line of children's books as well. And I know you have a children's book in your belly as well, too. So that's coming soon, guys. And a couple of other books. Mark, what is the name of what are your other books that's coming out soon, too? One word, I believe it is.
The Double My Income Formula is one.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think the name says itself. Sometimes there's a lot of, self-help books out there, and people want to sell you packages and all this stuff on YouTube. Excuse me. There's been some principles that I've adopted that I've benefited from, and it's just an opportunity for me to share with the public on ways to double your income. And I like to always preach from a practicing standpoint. I don't preach what I don't practice, and no different than you wouldn't go to a trainer who was out of shape, right? Or for a hairstylist whose hair was jacked up. Right? So you want to talk with people who are proven, but people are not necessarily trying to sell you a program. I look at it from my perspective. I don't necessarily need a program, but if you give me a blueprint to tell me how to, for example, to double my income, I'll follow it.
That's right. So guys, that's a book you can look forward to coming out probably around the end of this year or the beginning of next year, but it'll be coming out soon. And don't forget, you'll have the opportunity to meet with Mark at the Impact and Influence Authors Conference coming up very soon. And let me put that info back there for you. You can also, it's going to be at the Embassy Suites right in Duluth, Georgia. That's Gwinnett County. I've got people coming from all over the world for this conference. Not all over the world. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. From all over the country. Maybe soon we'll be from all over the world, but right now from all over the country to be a part of this event. And we definitely want to see your beautiful smiling face there. Make a weekend. I do want to let you know we are practicing everything, as I always tell you guys, that the CDC recommends when we're doing an event. We're going above and beyond that measurement because we care about you and we care about ourselves, and we want to make sure we're all as safe as we possibly can be. But when I tell you, you are going to be so blessed just being in the environment with so many people that have written so many different types of books that are going to just impart something into you that's going to bless your spirit, bless your soul, bless you. And even if you, like I said, if you don't even understand faith or walk in faith, come to the conference and just see if you feel something. If you don't feel anything at that conference, I want you to come up to me and say, Rhonda, I did not feel anything at this conference, because I know you're not going to do that. So come out anyway and be blessed and bring somebody with you. Mark, how excited are you to be a part of the 2021 Impact and Influence Authors Conference?
Well, I keep saying I don't feel like this author. I'm just a guy who's sharing his story and just here to encourage people. I've become an author as a byproduct of that. But people like myself, many other folks who are sharing a certain perspective, many of the new authors that I've met as well, many of the returning authors, I'm excited because it gives folks an opportunity to see all the different works out there, the different voices and perspectives. And that's what it's all about. It's about having access to those and being empowered as a result of those. So I'm excited for that within itself, not only from an author perspective, but as a consumer, because authors who have different stories to tell and different perspectives to share. And I think that's what we need more here, particularly in the United States, with all what's going on. We really need to learn and understand different views and diversify our learning perspectives about different people, experiences, background, culture, religion, etc. So I'm excited for that opportunity and to be a part of it.
Wonderful. We're excited to have you there because I know as the publisher, he published his book through Lady Night Enterprises Publishing. I know and have read Mark's book. And when I say it is an amazing book, I mean, it's just so much wealth of knowledge in there. So many things that helps you to look at things differently in your situation where you're going like, you have that aha moment. And you definitely want to have those kind of moments. Anything that's going to encourage and inspire and also elevate your life to another level. Nobody wants to stay the same. growth is very important. So when you can grow and you can learn something that's going to be beneficial, not only for you, but for your family, then by all means, you want to get this book, Burning the Boat by Mark A. Davis, and look for it real soon. And if you buy your book, you can go to our website too. You can pre-order your book and have Mark sign it for you when you come out to the conference, because I know you're going to be there. All right. Mark, before we leave, we're about to wrap up. Any last thoughts that you want to share with our viewers?
Face your fears. Go for what you want in life. Burn the boat, people. Burn the boat.
Burn that boat. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Impact and Influence Author Show. Don't forget to reach out to me if you want to come on the show, if you want to have an opportunity to do that. And I can give you all the details how you can do that. And we can feature you and talk about your book too. You can give us a call at 678-888-5599, as you see in the information and description about the show. Or you can simply email me. Either way, whatever you want to do, reach out to me and we'll talk about it. How about that? Mark, I want to thank you so much for joining us and being on the show with us. Thank you for doing a wonderful job. I'm looking forward to your next book. Excited about what God is going to do for you with this book, how many hands he's going to put this book into, how many lives are going to be changed, how many people are going to step out on a faith that they didn't even know they had in them. I just thank God for all that he's doing through you to reach his people. So thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate it. All right. And guys, I will see you. Yes, we do have a show tomorrow, and it's going to be one of our other featured authors, Cheryl Francis. So you want to tune in because she's going to talk to you about some wonderful things too. Love you guys. Share this video. Make sure you follow me, like, subscribe, and share. Share this video. You don't know who it may bless. I always tell you, let's not be selfish. Let's share with our family and our friends, because you don't know who may be looking at a news feed or looking at your friend or family member's page and they go, wow, I needed that. So let's be that person that blesses someone else, okay? All right, guys. I'm sorry, what, Mark?
Follow your dreams. Move forward. Burn the boat.
Burn that boat, guys. All right. I will see you next time, folks. Take care.